You know, one of the things I love about reading Thomas Sowell is he makes you think about conventional wisdom, turns it upside down. Well, the legendary Economist has a book out now, Wealth, Poverty, and Politics, in which he grapples with a lot of the, I guess, economic facade stats that are thrown at us, including the raging gap between the rich and the poor. Not to belabor the point, but one of the things that Thomas points out is that it serves a purpose to refer to this chasm and pound this chasm because it means more government involvement to help supposedly those on the shorter end of the stick. The legendary Economist with us right now. Thomas, always good to have you. I guess what comes through loud and clear is that there's a predisposition then to say the government must fix this, the government must right this, when you make the point there are far more richer people now than years ago and fewer poorer people, I'm trivializing and simplifying, than a few years ago, right?
Well, yes. I love it when people talk about the haves and the have-nots. When the have-nots of today, so-called, have things that even the haves didn't have, you know, a generation ago. For example, most of the people below the official poverty line, they have things like automobiles. Most people in official poverty own at least one motor vehicle. They have cable television. They have multiple TV sets. They have air conditioning, which I didn't have till I was well into my 40s. And it was only a window air conditioner at that. We're not talking central air conditioning. But I think the things that really drive me crazy are household incomes. I was looking at some data last night from the Congressional Budget Office, all sorts of stuff based upon household incomes, the top and the bottom. And what most people who throw around those statistics don't understand is that there are literally 29 million more people in the top 20% of households than there are in the bottom 20%. In other words, the number of households is the same in both categories, but the number of people varies by 29 million, which is more than the combined population of New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago.
But by continuing to foist that, you make an argument for the government doing anything and everything to fix it, right?
Well, and many of the problems have been exacerbated by the government itself, and that's nowhere truer than in California, where they're now once again wringing their hands about a lack of affordable housing. Well, the very people who are doing that are the ones who are making the housing unaffordable by having vast amounts of territory in California off limits to the building of housing or anything else.
Do you look at this contest, this presidential contest, whatever your political feelings, as a battle for more government or less government? You know, you have one candidate who's arguing government can fix things, make things better, and use this to support her argument, I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, that it has certainly helped in the last 8 years, versus Donald Trump. I know he's kind of all over a map on some of these issues, but basically the government can do a bit too much and actually manufacture a mirage. Where are you on this?
Well, the government certainly manufactures a lot of mirages. One of which, in the housing situation, they're constantly talking about how deregulation is what led to the housing crisis. Well, no, it was the imposition of incredible amounts of regulation, all in the wrong direction, that led lenders to be forced by the government to lend to people who couldn't pay them back.
If you don't mind, I'm trivializing this, even appearing patronizing, which I don't mean to be. But as an African-American, when you go before, let's say, African-American audiences, by a large monolithic Democratic group, how is that ever shaken? How do you explain there is an alternative, or there is a different way, or this type of thinking has failed you? What do you do?
Well, actually, I haven't gone before audiences of any color for well over a decade. I left the lecture circuit and do not miss it in the slightest. So I simply write for whoever wants to read it. And I think people who are saying that Donald Trump should go into black neighborhoods and go to before the NAACP are getting it all wrong. The NAACP does not own the black vote. He should approach blacks as he approaches everyone else. Black people read the newspapers, they watch television, they even listen to radio. So
but monolithically, 95% of the time they go Democrat. How do you change that?
Well, part of that is because the Republicans have had either nothing to say or nothing to say that was the least bit thoughtful or worthwhile. If you don't put up a fight, the other guy's going to win.
That's very well put. Thomas Sowell, the book is Wealth, Poverty, and Politics. He does make you think because he turns conventional wisdom upside down. Very good seeing you, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you.